Hello and welcome back to the Go for Two podcast, and welcome into our week 2 preview. I'm Liam, your host, and as always, I'm joined by, unfortunately, an Eagles fan for this week in particular. Is of course Vic, Mr. Muggs NFL. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I can't believe we've got week 2 Thursday night football tonight, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure I feel ready mentally. Maybe it's because I went on my trip, but yeah, we're in week 2 already, aren't we?
Yeah, I know it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. It's good, but it's going fast already. But week 1 was pretty good, so we're hoping for a good week 2. I would say particularly the games aren't quite as good in week 2 as they were in week 1.
Actually, maybe I'm a storyline guy, aren't I? But I think there's some good stuff on this week's.
Okay, that's good. Be interesting to see which games you like then in a minute when we get to it. But then obviously our two teams, unfortunately, are gracing the screens. Probably Sky Sports, I imagine. Maybe Channel 5 as well. Don't know.
Yeah, it's on both. Yes.
Okay, 9:25. But yeah, that means they've also chucked loads of games in the 6 p.m. slate that we've got to chat about, and we get a nice Monday night football doubleheader, which I still looking forward to them scrapping. But there we go. That's the NFL. They like to put a game on. I heard I think it was a 10 o'clock start in America. I can't remember if it was on the West Coast as well for that game. So it's just absolutely mental that they're playing 2 games on Monday night. But there we go. You'll be fast asleep, not worrying about any of that, mate.
What, you can bet your dollar I won't be watching them, mate. I can tell you that.
It's Tuesday morning. That'll be
Yeah,
Tuesday
exactly. And
morning.
that's a Tuesday morning issue.
Cool. Again, like we're going to go through all the games, talk about the spread. The spread's coming from ESPN in the States. And then we'll pick them. Each of us will pick them. We'll take it in turns. And we'll spend a bit more time on a few of the games. We've got, somewhere on time between 4 and 6 games we're going to spend a bit more time on. And then we'll kind of rattle through the rest. And then if there's any news for any of the teams, we might mention that in their games rather than here at the start. I have taken an early lead in this season, 10-7 after week 1. Patrick's not feeling stressed. He's like the Eagles in the Super Bowl. He's ready for a second quarter charge. So we'll see how week 2 goes. But yeah, I'm happy with the double digits for week 1. And you didn't lose any games week 1, mate, by more than 4 points. So I feel like you're there or thereabouts as well. It's been a good start to the season for us.
Yeah, just a bit of tweaking on third down, and then I'm right there, aren't I?
A couple of tush pushes and you'll be fine.
Oh.
And last week 2 and 3 was a nightmare for us. We did well in week 1. We struggled. So we'll be looking to do a bit better this week for our spreads in week 2. Most people will be listening to this on Friday, probably, or Saturday morning. But we are going to talk about Thursday night football very briefly. So we've got Commanders at the Packers, quite a good game for Thursday. If it's good enough, hopefully we'll do a bit of a breakdown on it tomorrow. The spread is Packers -3.5 at home in this big NFC game. It should be a fun game, mate. 2 interesting quarterbacks, 2 good offenses, one really good defense performance from last week, the other one not quite tested against the Giants. But these are 2 teams that we fancy themselves for the NFC title game, right? So it should be good for Amazon's first game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, God, what a big game for the first Thursday night football. They've not even softened us up, have they, with like the Panthers or anything? This is straight in like a top tier NFC game. So for me, more pressure on Green Bay. Looked great in week 1, didn't they? I feel like Washington just kind of got the job done against anemic New York offense. But yeah, Packers look really good, and I think kind of got to look the same again. I know it's a short week, 4 days later, but I think it'd be a bit of a letdown for kind of the wind in the sails of Green Bay if they didn't come out and look kind of potent like they did, especially on defense. Thought they looked awesome, didn't they? I mean, Parsons only played about 30 to 40% of the snaps, but when he did, you saw him, didn't you? On pretty much every snap, you saw him. So it's like you're going to need him against Jaden Daniels tonight. I think it's just a super fun game.
Yeah, he did play really well in those snaps. Looked cool looked weird, but cool in the jersey as well. And number 1, I thought was quite a good touch for Micah Parsons. Ollie Connolly's done a really good article on his Substack as well about the Packers defense and how good Parsons is and what that means for Jeff Hafley and stuff. So that is a good read if anyone listening wants a good read on NFL defense. Let's pick the game then, because I think a lot of people will be listening after us. They can laugh at us as they listen about how bad one of us or both of us gets this. As the winner of last week, I think I'd go first normally. So I'll go for Packers -3.5. My Super Bowl team. I think the defense looked great last week. The defensive line for the Lions at the tackle position might be stronger than the Commanders, to be honest. I could see there being some pressure on Jaden. I wish this was 3, but I'll still go Packers -3.5.
Yeah, I'm joining you, and I think the hype is going to be big if they do get out, especially with the cover, maybe a touchdown win. Yeah, I'll go Green Bay. They've got Cleveland away next week in week 3. So the Packers, if they get through this tonight with a win, you could be looking at 3-0. I feel like there's already a lot of hype on Green Bay. So it's, interesting start. I'll go Green Bay.
Yeah, hopefully this will be a fun game for anyone staying up on the Thursday night football. No Friday game, thankfully. Last week's went great for me. So we're on to Sunday, 6 p.m. and we're on to the team of the podcast, the AFC South champions coming up. The Jacksonville Jaguars are at the Cincinnati Bengals. A battle of 2 first overall picks. One's career has been very different to the other early on. And the Bengals are favoured at home again by 3.5 points. So another 3.5 to start us off. On paper, mate, should be a good game. The Jaguars defense not as strong as other teams. They played okay last week, but obviously the Panthers didn't look good. The offense looked pretty good, but that weather delay, similar to your game, looks like it kind of killed the game, to be honest. The momentum was all over the place. Trevor Lawrence had one bad throw that got intercepted. But Liam Cohen got them with a good run game. They had a good screen game. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. got a little bit more involved in the second half. And they've announced today that Travis Hunter will play more snaps as well on defense. For the Bengals, terrible game, but they actually win, which is more important to them in week 1 than probably any team in the NFL. The offense should be really good this season. The defense, we think, could be bad. It spells fireworks to me, having that description there. I think we could see some points. I think we could see some big-time throws, but yeah, this could be quite a chaotic game, I think, knowing how these two teams start the NFL seasons.
Yeah, do you know what? I think this is perfect scheduling after what happened in week 1. Obviously, the Jags look good against a really bad team. We never actually spoke about that game, did they? Carolina just completely abject before and after the rain delay. I really like ETN, by the way. Is Travis ETN, is he back? He went for 150.
Yeah, 71-yard, was it, run or something?
Yeah, he did. And he got 3 catches out the backfield as well, not for a lot of yardage. But I'd like to see Brian Thomas get involved a little bit more. He only had 1 catch last week. Yeah, I'm with you. Well, even though you're not giving it away, but I know you're thinking it in your head. I like the Jags to come into Cincinnati. I actually watched the Bengals game last night in 40 because I've not really seen a lot of it. Cleveland should have had that game, to be honest with you. Cleveland should have had that game, and they'll look at, if they have a close finish in the end, the Browns, they'll look at that as a big regret. Chase will need to get involved a lot more this week, and both and Higgins as well, to be honest with you. They were really unimpressive on offense. The Browns defense is kind of vaunted, and Jacksonville is nothing to that level. Still got some good edge rushers, and love to see a lot more out of Cincinnati this week, to be honest. They're going to need to, I think, because I expect Jacksonville again to look pretty competent on offense.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they'll have a good game plan as well for a defense that plays like this. So yeah, I'm excited in terms of the game. I think it should be quite fun. But they had 7 yards, by the way. I don't know if you know this stat. 7 yards the Bengals offense had in the second half against the Browns. So the Browns are a good defense. 7 yards. I feel like you could get 7 yards against the Browns defense somehow.
If I've got Jamar Chase one side, T. Higgins the other side, I'd fancy myself for a 7-yard catch somewhere, wide open.
Yeah, somewhere along the way. But they got to run the ball better as well. I mean, Chase Brown played great in that game, wasn't very efficient. And again, there was clips going around Twitter about the offensive line. Now, I'm one of these people who thinks the offensive line is actually the best he's had since we've been doing the pod. Maybe the best they've had still isn't much to shout about. I thought they'd be quite good, and it's only 1 week, and that one preseason game that everyone went mad about where Joe Burrow was running for his life, but didn't look very good last week. Now that is Myles Garrett, so we'll see how this looks this week. But yeah, it feels like a fun game. Feels like a big game. I have no idea if this is on Sky or not, but it's one of the bigger games for me in the early window, and I hope both quarterbacks play well and we get an exciting one. Feels quite important for me, more important for the Bengals, I would say, after week 1, to have a good performance, even if they don't win, but to have a good, strong performance on offense and maybe see if the defense can do well again, because the defense looked okay last week, but it was against the Browns, and the Browns missed 4 points of kicks, I think, that would have won them the game. So yeah, I'm excited. What do you make to the Travis Hunter more snaps on defense? They haven't confirmed if that'll lean to less snaps on offense, but yeah, maybe the experiment's either working better now, or you could take it as it's working worse on offense and they want to move him. I'm not sure, but yeah, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, with the ignoring the week 1 struggles of Cincinnati, clearly got more weapons, right? So kind of loading up that side of the ball makes sense. Not sure what to make of Travis Hunter week 1. Yeah, it was a mixed bag, wasn't it? He 6 catches, I think, for about 30 odd yards. He didn't look kind of dynamic or anything like that. I think it's really early days in what they want to do with him. I think they're going to have to at some point decide what he actually is. I think it's. I think I would prefer him at cornerback, to be honest with you, because it's harder to find a really elite corner. But we'll see as it goes on. He's certainly going to get a test this week. He plays more defensive snaps.
Yeah, this would be the week for it. Yeah, cheers. Let's play more defensive snaps and go guard Jamar Chase. Like, okay, yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
But why couldn't I do that last week against Xavier Legette? Why do I have to do that in this week? Yeah, we'll see. It should be an exciting game. There's a lot of UK fans of both these teams. I'm sure Twitter will have a lot of people talking on Sunday. You alluded to it. I don't know if it's because of the Jaguars' love or the Bengals' hate, but we kind of know where I'm going. But it is your turn to pick first. Where are you going for this one?
Super close in my mind. It's a great start for one of these teams at 2-0, to be honest with you. I'm going to go Cincinnati. I'm going to trust in the offensive weapons that they've got, and they can pull this out. And I tell you what, they would be, after previous years, they would be very happy to be 2-0, and even if the performances are not to the level that they'd want them to be.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, 2-0 would be massive for this team, and that confidence. They normally get better as the season goes on. I'm gone for Jags plus 3.5. Bengals can still win by a field goal, and Jags will cover that spread for me. So yeah, I'll go for them. I think the offense should be good. Then this might be the week we see the Bengals defense that we all think we're going to see, and even if it's not Trevor Lawrence, it could just be the run game or a couple of screens to Brian Thomas Jr. that just goes to the house. So yeah, I'll go for the Jags, but I think it'll be a very high scoring game. On to the next game then that we'll spend a bit more time on. The Bears at the Lions. Lions are favored at home by 5.5. Two teams that are 0-1 going into week 2. We probably can't start this anywhere else but Caleb Williams and the stories that have come out this week. I don't know how much you've read or listened into it. Yeah. Any takes on that, or are you unaware of the news?
No, I actually really like that podcast, the Go Long podcast, and he always does really good long form kind of articles and whatnot. And I just think, yeah, it's incredible timing the way it's come out as well. It's not going to well, but you can kind of see the things that in there that are perhaps true as well. And it's I saw a graphic yesterday, which was the first ever blockbuster trade where no one improved from, which is the Bryce Young for Caleb Williams, plus a load of other players. And you know what? That ain't looking far wrong at the moment, is it? Because Caleb has time to turn it around. But obviously that article, the article series was pretty damning on him and the way that the Bears are being run.
Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, I think it was, like you said, was it Go Long, is it?
Go Long post,
yeah. It's on his Substack as well. And I think it was 32 or 34 unnamed sources that worked for the Bears last year. And again, they're unnamed. A lot of them have been fired, obviously, from last season's coaching staff that talked about his kind of, what would you say, his work rate, his effort, his focus. There was some pretty nasty stuff in there about, him being dyslexic and stuff. But there was some obvious stuff around. He made the comment, didn't he, in the Seth Wickersham piece that no one helped him watch film. And they basically come out in that article and said that is not true. And you can see on the iPad if anyone's opened it and when they've logged in, and he wouldn't be logging in. And I think there's examples of on a Friday practice, he was running the wrong play and he was motioning people from left to right instead of right to left. And people just thought he had not looked at the playbook and not studied for that week. And again, we'll never know if it's not just true or not. And these people are obviously scorned people that Caleb did kind of slag off in the media. But to get 30-odd people that seem to have a similar story is a bit worrying.
Sorry, just to cut in there. You did say we won't know whether that's true, but we will know about his play on the field and whether in the past when like Jamarcus Russell, who went number 1 overall, or Johnny Manziel that went in the first round, the things came out about them and their work ethic and them not studying the playbook. And we saw that on the field and they were out of the league within 3 years, So we are going to find that bit out, aren't we, about Caleb?
Yeah, we are. And one of the main pieces that came out was about this whole pre-snap penalties and motioning and stuff. Week 1, 4 pre-snap penalties, 3 of them because of motion. Last play of the game, Hail Mary, he motioned DJ Moore the wrong side again. It was just very good timing of like what's in that article literally happened in that game 24 hours later. So we'll see. We'll never know how much of it is actually true, but there's a lot of stuff in there, and things that I don't think seem way off the mark in terms of his. Yeah, even if he's putting loads of effort in, but he's at least not running the plays properly. You can see that on the field, but we'll see if that improves. The Lions kind of got dominated as well in week 1. The Bears started well, faded. The Lions got dominated throughout the game. Who's this game more important to?
Detroit. I'll tell you why. I saw there was a question at a press conference to Dan Campbell, and it was a boneheaded report. Have you seen it where he says, "Why didn't you not just run the exact same offense as last season?" And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, and he was asking about pre-snap motions as well, wasn't he? Saying
he was, yeah.
You did less motions, and he was like, "Go watch the play. We motioned on nearly every snap." What are you talking about? Dan Campbell was pissed in that.
He was. That is pressure. The pressure of the NFL. You feel it from week 1 because there's nowhere to hide, is there at all?
No, yeah, 100%. 100%. And their schedule's tricky as well, right? The Lions. So they'll be wanting to come in, divisional game, win this. And the biggest factor is obviously the Ben Johnson return, right? He's going to be up for it as well. And he'll be hoping that Caleb can get that game plan right with him and they can run the ball a bit better than they did in that game and try and cause the Lions some problems on the ground like the Packers did at times in that game. But yeah, I don't know. I watched the Bears defense in the second half and I went back and watched that game in 40 and think, I know it's a different OC, but the Lions should have success right on that. If you look at what JJ McCarthy did, it feels like to me if the offense can't get going for the Lions in this game, it's a little bit worrying because the Bears aren't blessed with interior pass rush either, which I think could cause them a problem. So I think the Lions should get going in this game.
They want to because they're at Baltimore next week.
Yeah.
And that is, it's just, I think this is a great game of just pressure already in week 2, which is why we love this sport, right? The season is so short that there's no game to throw away anymore now for either of these two teams. They both lost a divisional game also. But have you seen the stat about Jared Goff, which blew my mind?
Is it an outdoor one or?
No, he's never won a game with a play caller that's not Ben Johnson or Sean McVay. He's literally 0, 19, and 1 tie.
But he'll be praying that changes this week. But that's
exactly.
If there's 2 play callers you're going to do it with, it'll be those 2. Yeah, you want a bit more confidence in Jared. But yeah, again, I'm hoping this will be a good game. I think it's one that Lions really have to come and look to win. Like I said, the spread is 5.5, so Lions favored by 5.5 is me to go first. I am going to go Lions minus 5.5. I do think they win the game, even if it's maybe not by that margin. I could see them running the ball well in this game and dominating the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs having a bigger game than he did in week 1. So yeah, I'm going to go Lions minus 5.5. I agree with you. It's a big game for them.
Yeah, I go Detroit as well. I'd love to see Chicago keep this close late into the game.
Yeah, me too. We could see some sparks in that one. I'm not sure what sparks we'll get in this game. It could be a lot of running. We've got the Seahawks at the Steelers. Steelers coming off a big win. Seahawks coming off a pretty tough loss to the 49ers. The Steelers are favored at home by 2.5 points. Aaron Rodgers at home, which I think is probably a fair shout. Seen some good pieces this week in the media about Aaron Rodgers, about DK Metcalf, about the offense in general. And they've also added Jabril Peppers, I think, as well to play safety since then. So it's been a big week for the Steelers. Seahawks got the worst of Sam Darnold, got the best of Sam Darnold at times. I'm not sure how good this game will be, mate, but I think it'll be a cracking atmosphere, at least in Pittsburgh.
I mean, what a week 1 win can do to you at the Jets, by the way, which is historically not the toughest place to go in the world, but things feel on the up for Pittsburgh. If you follow any of their fan pages or any of the beat writers, wow, we're happy that Seattle are coming into town 2-0. And then you kind of move from there in the division. You're keeping it ahead of the division in kind of most of the parts. Looking at Seattle, I mean, what a disappointing week, by the way, because if you take Sam Darnold threw 150 yards on 23 attempts, very modest. Jackson Smith in Jigba was 124 yards of that.
Yeah, he was good as well.
Cooper Kupp was 2 for 15, and then after that, it's nothing. And it's like there was no run game either. And I just think, worrying start actually for Seattle, and important week for them to kind of bounce back against, what's probably a really good defense as well in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, worrying for my fantasy football team as well. Kenneth Walker in multiple teams. Every time he left the field, the run game got better, which is never something you want to see. So I'll be interested to see what the carries look like for Charbonnet in this game. Actually, same as the Steelers. Kenneth Gainwell seems like the RB1, which is, we talked about it in the review pod about Caleb Johnson as well not being involved as much. So I'll be interested to see how they how they run the ball. But yeah, I think this will be more of a low-scoring game than the 3 we've spoken about so far. And it's your turn to go first. Steelers -2, 2.5. Sorry, where are you going?
I'm going Pittsburgh. I'm going Pittsburgh 2-0.
Can I really pick Sam Darnold and the Seahawks +2.5 twice in a row? Feels like I should probably save myself with my Aaron Rodgers doubt and go Steelers -2.5 as well. I'm just a bit worried about the run game. Seattle looked really good at running the ball in preseason. I just didn't see enough in week 1. So yeah, I'm hoping for a fight between Witherspoon and DK Metcalf from this game. Though that feels like two guys that want to battle on the field. So I'm excited to see where that
By
goes.
the way, Tariq Woolen has really kind of fallen off his level.
Yeah, he's talking about that play and that touchdown to.
Oh yeah, I mean that was absolutely.
It's like he's trying to find it in the light. It looked like, even though it was no floodlights.
Yeah, he's kind of come down a real level last couple of seasons.
Yeah, he has. Cool. Let's rattle through the rest of the 6 p.m. window then. And the first game is we're going to go to the AFC East. We're going to go Bills at Jets. Bills favored on the road by 6.5 points. Me to go first as well. I'm going to go Bills -6.5. Josh Allen played really well week 1. Bills normally demolish bad teams. I think the Jets could be better than we think or people think, but yeah, still not good enough for me to contend with the Bills. But I would like to see fill out two good games in a row would be nice. But I'll go Bills -6.5.
Yeah, I'll go with you there. I think this could be closer for a while. Jets always seem to play Josh Allen pretty well, to be honest. Always been good on defense the last few years. So I'll go that. Love to see Fields be able to keep up into the fourth quarter. But yeah, I'll go Bills, but I was tempted by the Jets at 6.5 points.
Yeah, you got to hope that run game for them looks good again. Breece Hall looked good. Bain Allen, they didn't get as many snaps as people thought, but let's hope they run the ball well in week 2. This should be a fun game. I'm interested in this game. Rams at Titans. Rams are favored on the road by 5.5 points. Now, I've seen Cam Ward was terrible. I've seen, rightfully so, coaching staff is terrible. They had loads of penalties again, just like they had all last season. And then I've seen articles of like Cam Ward had the best loss, like worst game you'll see, where receivers were dropping passes, players were open, and then there was flags. People saying that he made some big throws that didn't count. So I'll be interested to see how this game looks. But yeah, big game for the Rams on the road, mate. Where are you going? -5.5.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the Tennessee and Denver game, did we, the other day? I went back and watched that. There's some horrific drops, to be honest. I wasn't that impressed with the Rams either. I'm actually going to go Tennessee. Is it +5.5?
+5.5, yeah.
+5.5. I'm happy with that. As a little gamble, I'm happy to go +5.5 because I think you're going to go the other way. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get the variance of the drop passes and the penalties calling plays back every single week for Tennessee. So go then.
Yeah, I am becoming a meme of myself with Jaguars and Rams. So I need to address this in future weeks, but not this week. So Rams -5.5. Stafford looked good, by the way. Didn't talk about him either. Like the back issue looked good. Yeah, 3 or 4 really big throws, and Devonta Adams looks good as well. So yeah, their offensive line's a bit banged up for this game, which I think Jeffrey Simmons will probably enjoy, causing Stafford some trouble. But yeah, I'll go Rams -5.5. But I think it could be close until the fourth quarter in this game. NFC East then. Let Russ cook, hopefully for at least 2 more weeks. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys favored at home as well by 5.5. So we got some 5.5.
Wow. I was waiting for this spread because I didn't know what that was going to be.
Yeah, 5.5. I know this is tipping my pick, but that is light. I know they lost Micah Parsons, but they look good on offense against the Eagles. Maybe the Giants' defensive line's so good that they'll look worse. But yeah, Russ is basically going to play in week 2. It seems like they're going to keep Jackson Dart for another week or 2 or 3 or 4. We'll see. But yeah, Cowboys will look to perform a little bit better than they did in the second half of that Eagles game. It's me to go first, so I'm going to go Cowboys -5.5. I think they could win this by double digits, to be honest. And the offense could be really good. I don't trust the Giants secondary, and Mike Parsons isn't there, but I still think Russell Wilson might throw 1 or 2 to the other team, so I'll go for the Cowboys.
I'm really tempted to go for the Giants, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go for Dallas. I was impressed with we did say before on the Dallas pass attack, I thought might carve the Eagles up for a little bit, and that did happen. So yeah, I'll go Dallas, but if what you were saying is correct, the double-digit loss, you can forget Russ in week 3 because I just don't think Brian Daboll has that leash on his job.
I need Russ to play in week 3 because I'm worried about my team's result for this week, and I do not need 0-3. I'm not saying Jackson Dart would give you 0-3, but there's more chance of him winning a game than Russ. So maybe I need a close Cowboys win, a field goal win or something to keep Russ in the job. But yeah, we'll see. Brian Dable, by the way, a stressed man. I've seen 2 clips already of him arguing with Malik Neighbors, and then I believe that Abdul Carter didn't want to come off the field for Brian Burns on a third down, and Dable had to literally grabbed him and pulled him to the sideline. I'm like, these are not positive signs for an NFL team. But we can report back when you're asked to play quarterback for a few snaps in a week's time. AFC East now. This game is awful because of how last week looked. Pats at Dolphins. Guess the spread on this game after week 1. What do you think it is, unless you've looked?
Wow, this is so hard. The Dolphins look terrible, but Dolphins -1.5.
Oh, you got it right.
Did I?
Yeah,
Oh.
you're learning well from 4 years of listening to these spreads. But yeah, it is Dolphins -1.5. Tyreek Hill stuff coming up continually again. Mike McDaniel, another one who had a bit of a stressful press conference, if you listen to it, by the way, back about how they performed last week. Patriots as well, though, not good at all on offense. Trayvon Henderson didn't get as many snaps as Ramondre Stevenson. The wide receiver position was all over the place. Keyshawn Booty got the most snaps. So, yeah, it's not a must win, of course, because I don't know if these two teams are even trying to win, really. Maybe the Dolphins are, but I feel like they were both a mess in week 1, so I'm not sure what we're going to see in week 2, but it's luckily your turn to go first, so you got to tell me where you're going with this wonderful game.
Not a must-win for the franchises overall, but I'll tell you what, there's 2 head coaches that want to win. McDaniel needs a win, and Vrabel, if he looks at Miami from last week and thinks if my football team can't go into here and win in week 2, we seem very underprepared. I'm going to go Patriots +1.5.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go the same. I thought they were going to win last week, or we both thought they were going to win last week. And yeah, still big believer in Drake May. I'd like to see the offense play better. I'd like to see them run the ball better. I think they need to just go with Stevenson. Go with Henderson as the main back in this game. So yeah, I'll go Patriots as well. But yeah, if the Dolphins lose here by double digits and Tua looks bad, then that's a big concern for them. So yeah, they'll be dying for a win. Niners then on the road to the Saints. We are going with the spread that I had when I looked at this last night. So it might have changed. We'll go off this spread because Mac Jones is your starting quarterback. We've got Mac Jones, Spencer Rattler. This is a game where my quarterback, Spencer Rattler, is the best on the field, no doubt, in this game. And by the way, quarterback with the least missed throw percentage in week 1, apart from Josh Allen, 2%, Spencer Rattler. I believe he's the man. I believe. So that tells you where I'm going. I'm going to go Saints +4.5.
Oh, is it +4.5?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, 49ers -4.5. Mac Jones is going to start. I can't go Mac Jones. I know Kyle Shanahan loves Mac Jones, but I can't do it. So I'm going to go for Spencer Rattler and the Saints. I thought they actually looked quite good in the second half, to be honest, last week.
Oh, no Purdy, no George Kittle, no Ayuk. No, you've got to give me the Saints +4.5. I can't have Mac Jones on minus money, I'm afraid. I think New Orleans going to win this game.
Me too. I think if my guy Spencer Rattler loses this game with those caveats you just mentioned on the 49ers offense, Tyler Shuck's probably going to be playing in week 3 or 4, which is a disappointment to me. On to Baltimore, last game, the 6 p.m. slate, leaving this one last because it is the biggest spread by some margin. Browns at Ravens. Ravens favored at home by 11.5 points.
Wow, in week 2?
Which is a big one for week 2. Last time they were favored by this many, it was week 2, it was against the Dolphins, and they won by 35. So, so they've got history, but they'll be coming off obviously that tough loss last week, trying to win. I thought the Browns actually looked all right in week 1. I think the worry for them is when they go to one of the other quarterbacks, they'll probably look like a disaster. They look pretty competent. They should have won that game. Offense was fine. Run game wasn't as good as it should have been. The defense looked good, actually. Again, with Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett leading the charge. 11.5 is a big number, but it is the Browns. So where are you going?
I'm going to go Cleveland, I think. I think they can get the Ravens off the field enough times. It wouldn't surprise me if Baltimore went and blew the doors off them, but I'm going to go Cleveland to keep it close-ish and under that spread. I don't think they should have won that game last week. I just wish that run game was just a little bit better.
Yeah. I don't know if Judkins will play this week as well. I'm not sure how that...
Yeah. Dylan Sampson, by the way, looked pretty good, but he didn't kind of have
catches, didn't he?
Yeah.
As well. He catches, but yeah, they got to run it a bit better with Flacco because, You can't ask him to throw it 50 times a game, and he's not going to run it. Someone else is going to run it. So you're going for the Flacco revenge game, which I like. I'll go for Ravens minus 11.5. Come on, I never picked the Giants spread, so I'll go with the Giants spread. I'll go Derrick Henry, 200 rushing yards, something crazy like that to win them the game. Cool. On to the 9 p.m. window. Let's leave the best game to last because it's our two teams, and we probably do talk about our two teams more than most teams. So we'll go to two teams that won in week 1 but did look very different. Broncos at the Colts. Broncos favored on the road by 1.5 points. Preseason line was 3. They obviously thought the Colts looked better last week. Maybe the Broncos looked a bit worse. So it's Broncos 1.5 on the road. Daniel Jones versus Bo Nix. Who's the better quarterback? We'll find out. What's your thoughts on this game? I think it should be relatively fun, but I think 3 weeks ago everyone said the Colts would get blown out here by double digits. So I'm not sure is week 1 kind of ruining everyone's perception of it? Like, should we be a bit more, this is a rubbish game, Broncos will dominate them, or have the Colts got a chance?
No, I think Indianapolis have a chance. But what I will say is, what a chance for one of these two teams to go 2-0, right? You go 2-0, Denver, you're ahead of the Chiefs. That's confirmed, isn't it? And then Indianapolis love to be 2-0 in that division and say, kind of, why not us? We have good defense. I think this will be a low scoring, but I think this will be a closely contested game. Really unimpressed Denver last week on offense. I mean, we didn't speak about it, but in a win, that was maybe the most disappointing win of the week. To be honest with you, I didn't like some of the decisions they made. I didn't think Bo Nix looked very good either. So that was... it's a real interesting game, to be honest. And the defense is good. To be honest with you. And we're going to find out about Daniel Jones a little bit more this week than we did last, I think.
Yeah, we are. Need to go for the Broncos minus 1.5 for that reason. It is Daniel Jones against an elite defense.
Yeah.
I can see picks and fumbles, unfortunately. As a Chiefs fan, I'd love to see 2 sneaks again, a 50-yard pass to A.D. Mitchell and Tyler Warren dominating, but the defense is really, really good. So, yeah, I will go Broncos minus 1.5. And if you're a Broncos fan, you want the offense to look a bit better this week, I think.
Yeah, you do. They're going into a divisional game next week against the Chargers. I will go Denver as well, but I do think that this could be close. But defense wins outright. It's a really good defense.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see the Colts defense, actually. On paper, pretty good. I wasn't quite sure before the season. They're always good on paper, but they don't really have that star talent. But they were so good last week. But was that a Dolphins thing or was that a Colts thing? I'm interested to see how they look in week 2. But yeah, we've both gone Dolphins. Next game then, the two teams that are always in this window. There's at Cardinals. 9:05 as well, by the way. Of course it's 9:05. It's not 9:25. And for 2 weeks in a row, the Cardinals are near touchdown favorites. The Cardinals are favored at home by 6.5 points. They scraped last week with a touchdown win. Don't think they looked great in the first half. Defense did well down the end to hold, obviously, the Saints. Where are you going with this one, mate?
Carolina looked the worst team in football. Damning, exactly. Really damning. They're going to have to improve tenfold to win a few games this season because they look really terrible. So I'm going to go Arizona and the spread because Cardinals made hard work of the Saints, who are probably a little bit better on defense than I thought they were probably going to be. But I'll go Arizona in this game. Carolina, yes, it's not looking good already. You don't write anyone off after week 1, but it was so bad.
They were so bad, yeah. Although I think the whole world's written the Dolphins off after week 1. But you're true, right. We should hold our horses to week 3 at least for some of these teams. Yeah, I struggled with this one a little bit because I actually thought last season the Panthers offense looked quite good with bad players. So I thought they were going to look better this year, but last week they did not look good. I actually had the Saints to finish above them. So for my preseason takes, I probably need them to lose this game. So yeah, I'm going to go Cardinals minus 6.5 as well. I'd like them to get Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison a bit more involved early in the game and run the ball a bit more in the second half. Yeah, I'll go Cardinals minus 6.5. Feels like all the people that picked them as the wild card need them to look a bit better than they did against the Saints last week. On to the big one then, Super Bowl rematch. Unfortunately for me, didn't want this game in week 2. I want this. I've changed my stance that this should have been week 1, and we could have then played the Chargers in week 2. That'd have been a preferred route. But it's Eagles at Chiefs. This line has moved. Eagles are favored on the road. The first time the Chiefs are underdogs on the road and at home in 5 years. Eagles are favored by 1.5. It was Chiefs 1.5, and everyone bet the Eagles when it came in at 1.5. And I've seen 3 shows this week that say if the Eagles win this game, the Chiefs' aura is gone. They're going to go 10 years without a Super Bowl, like Tom Brady. What did Gronk say? If you hit this team in the mouth, they won't come back. Patrick Mahomes moans at his teammates too much. Travis Kelce's too emotional, and Andy Reid's past it. So that's what I've heard this week. As an Eagles fan, what do you think? Less skin in the game than me about how this game might look.
Yeah, I'm not that optimistic about this game. Probably after what I saw week one was quite underwhelming. Offense was incredibly efficient because, really, Jalen Hurts went for 19 of 19 because the passes that he missed were thrown away. So it was, but everything from that was the average depth of target was by far the least.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, but it's kind of just picking up what kind of we needed to, and he was very effective with his legs. I don't buy all of that about the going 0-2. I seem to remember New England going 0-2 actually, and Belichick did a famous press conference, and I think they got to the Super Bowl that season. So I'm not really fussed on that. More for me, the Chiefs have got a couple of injuries and a suspension at the wide receiver. It's going to still. This is where, looking at it from the Eagles' standpoint, is we're going to find out even more because, the Chiefs are rolling out Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kelsey, and a few other randoms. And if the Eagles' secondary can't handle that at the moment, it's not looking good going forward. I still think Mahomes will get some decent yardage, to be honest, out of that. But maybe it's kind of getting into the end zone where this Philadelphia did stiffen up in the second half against Dallas. I think it's an interesting game. Super Bowl rematch. It doesn't feel like two particularly, at the moment, high-powered teams. I think whatever happens in week 2 would be completely different to what happened if they played again in week 12, for instance. I think both teams are going to look very different in 2-3 months' time.
Yeah, I agree. I do think this game is much more important for the Chiefs, though. I do think that because of the momentum around the team and, like you said, the suspensions, and they've got hard first 6 weeks with the Ravens coming up in week 4 as well. So it's like they probably need this win more, whereas the Eagles, NFC team, slightly easier schedule. There's some opportunities there to win some games later on in the season as well. Whereas the Chiefs, it's a difficult start for them. But yeah, you're right. If Tyquan Thornton gets 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on the Eagles CB2, then that is a worrying position.
He's starting, my new favourite player.
Is he starting? Is he again?
He's starting, Adore Jackson.
Yeah, and this game should look, well, this is me wishful thinking, should look different to the Super Bowl in the fact that the Eagles have lost 2 of their best pass rushers. And the Chiefs' left tackle should be better. But we'll see how Jalen Carter does against Kingsley Sumatia, left guard. I can imagine him lining up on there probably 70-80% of the game, to be honest. If I was the Eagles, that's what I would be doing. The question for me is, the pass game for the Chiefs is going to look how it looks. The pass game for the Eagles is very similar every year. But how do the 2 run games look? Saquon Barkley wasn't as efficient last week as he was last year. The Chiefs' off run game was terrible last week, and they kind of abandoned it in the Super Bowl. Feels like for both these 2 teams, Eagles to dominate games, they've got to run it like they did last year. Chiefs to keep up with other teams whilst their wide receivers are out, they need to run the ball well. Never an attractive thing to say when you've got a Super Bowl MVP versus a former Super Bowl MVP. But I think the run games might dictate a lot of how this game goes. It should be fun. Sirianni at Arrowhead, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Could he make me hate him anymore? We find out on Sunday. It's who's going to go first? Who went first in the Cardinals game? Me or you? You, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, is it me to go first this time?
I think it's me to go first. Yeah, I'm going Eagles -1.5. That's it.
Same. I'd be disappointed if Philadelphia didn't win and look better than they did last week. To be honest with you, I think strength is still there. Something, I don't know whether it was the emotional, it's the week 1 or whatever, kind of nerves, and Dallas looked a little bit better than everyone was expecting. I think the nerves was in the crowd, as well. I think everyone was expecting a blowout for some reason, and I just couldn't understand.
The Parsons trade, I think. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, I'd like to see a better performance coming out of Philadelphia this week. I'll go Eagles.
I want the Chiefs to win, obviously, but we'll go Eagles -1.5. Hedge our emotional bets. One thing lost in week 1, Patrick Mahomes did play very well. I'm excited, even as neutrals probably hate him. I don't know. We want to see last week's Patrick Mahomes, not last season's Patrick Mahomes, if you want fun games, because the Chiefs are always on telly, right? So if you want fun games, you want it. And last week he was incredible. So I'm hoping he plays well this week.
On the neutral hate thing, I think it's better because his brother's not been seen for a couple of years. And I think you kind of keep that up, and then people realise that actually it's still incredibly fun to watch the best quarterback, right? Because that's what we all like. We all love watching Mahomes. You look at Justin Herbert last week. Even as a Chiefs fan, kind of watching that, it's actually so much fun to watch an elite quarterback in it. So
I love Herbert as well.
You have to take these guys when we've got them.
Yeah, because half the games you watch on a weekend, like you're not looking at good quarterbacks. So it's like you wanted to, like you said, make the most of it whilst they're playing. And we've got so many of them all around the same age as well, right? All in their peaks. But yeah, to Chiefs win this game, it will be because Mahomes probably was incredible. There's not many other ways for them to win that game. On to Sunday Night Football then. This is a fun game. I feel like the Vikings have been put against two very interesting storyline teams across the NFL. This is probably a game you like because the storylines are quite big.
Yeah, I do love this game. Yeah, can't wait to hear the spread, actually.
Yeah, Falcons at Vikings. JJ McCarthy, NFC Offensive Player of the Week, by the way.
Don't go there because that's madness.
That is madness. And he is going to, hopefully for him, carry on his winning ways with a 3.5 point spread. Vikings -3.5 at home against the Falcons. Penix looked pretty good at times in week 1, then didn't look good at times. The run game actually was a bit disappointing for the Falcons. The Vikings run game was really good. And obviously, as we spoke about, length in the first part of the week, JJ McCarthy got better as the game went on, and the offensive line got better as the game went on. But yeah, these are two hilarious teams. I feel like these two teams always have crazy games against random teams. They always either put up 50 points or they put up 16 points. This is just a fun Sunday Night Football game with Mike in the booth. So yeah, I think this should be quite good. Where are you thinking in terms of what type of game it'll be before we pick the spread?
Well, number one is there's no way that the Vikings and Falcons play each other and it's not sorted in the final 2 minutes. Both of these teams are incapable of putting teams away, I think. Especially with obviously JJ McCarthy. Look, it was his first ever NFL start. He was on IR all last year. And the fourth quarter of dreams, if we're ignoring the fourth quarter for a little bit and we kind of look at the first 3 quarters of play, it was very poor, right? The EPA per play was, I think, the second to last in the league, the starting QBs last week. And I just think, obviously, it was his first start. I'm happy to kind of say that. And I'm sure Vikings fans will be going, well, he does nothing but win. A bit like the Eagles fans go with Jalen Hurts when he's throwing 2 yards depth on his targets. Well, still a Super Bowl MVP, right? So it's like, yeah, okay. He's got a winner. He's won his first NFL game. Great. I think this game might be pure chaos, to be honest with you. Do you know what thing that I come down to in this is special teams? I really like Will Reichert, the kicker from Minnesota. And I trust him a lot more than Koo, who missed obviously a vital pick last week. He also missed an extra point. I just think in a tight game like this, trusting who I think has got better special teams, I think.
Yeah, Koo. I feel like Koo's involved in big moments in every game he plays in.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He's always picking take this game to overtime from the 59-yard kick, and
it is. He's completely correct.
Yeah, he's always under pressure. That guy. He never has a normal field goal. It's always under pressure. But yeah, I'm excited to see how both these quarterbacks kind of bounce back in week 2. I know JJ got some plaudits, like we said, but I don't think he played that well, especially at the start of the game. I think it's more impressive how he kind of the resilience he had and to overcome that 10-point deficit. Rookies have never done. Only 2 rookies have ever done that in week 1, and it's him and Steve Young. So I understand how good that is, but the first half performance wasn't good. So I'm looking forward to see how that can be better. Michael Penix missed some throws last week, so I think he can be better. So I'm looking forward to a bit of chaos in this game. And again, let's go to the spread. Vikings -3.5. Your turn to go first, mate.
I'll go Atlanta because there's a field goal lost in it there for me. So I think I'll just go there.
Field goal. We can't make him miss another kick. Come on. He's got to be sad after last week. Oh, God, I don't know what to go for this game. I'll probably join you. I'll join you. Why not? It's a safety pick. I think the Vikings could definitely win the game. But yeah, I think the Falcons offense should look a bit better than it did. The Bucks, everyone thought they'd have a high-powered offense, but they actually had a bit of a low-scoring game in week 1 with Baker Mayfield missing some throws. I'm hoping, mate, these two teams pick it up a bit on offense because I would have been really excited for this, or am excited for it anyway, but really excited for this before the season. I love the Bucks offense. I love CJ Stroud. There's some big weapons across the 2 teams. Yeah, the Texans will be hoping they can get Nico Collins a bit more involved than they did last week.
Yeah, really worried about that run game, to be honest with you. I think Joe Mixon's going to be a a big loss for maybe the whole season. To be honest, Chubb looked okay, but the rest of it that they shared the backs with was not good. Don't know what to make of Houston at the moment. I mean, falling to 0-2, to be honest, with the games that the Colts and the Jags have got, would be not a complete disaster, obviously, but it's really not ideal, to be honest, with divisional play about to start in that division. I know what you're saying about Baker, though, going across to the Bucs. He did miss a lot of shots, but he came through clutch with probably the best pass of the week, right? In a clutch situation to Egbuka, who looks like a bit of a game changer for Tampa Bay. It's a really, really interesting game. I feel like it means so much to Houston, right? A divisional team for the last few years, and really stuttered in a disappointing performance last week.
Similar to what you said about the Chiefs with the Broncos, it's a chance for a team like the Jags or Colts to get a 2-game lead as well on the Texans, which is, again, is so early, but you don't want to be fighting out of different.
You'd rather have the 2-game lead than not have it at this stage, wouldn't you? So it's
100%. But I'm hoping it should be a fun game, like we said. It's me to pick it. I'm gonna go Bucks. Bucks plus 2.5, and then win the game. I think their defense looked really good last week, actually, to be honest. Hassan Reddick had a really good pass rush win rate and played a lot of snaps last week. So I think the defense might be better than maybe some of us thought. I'll go Bucks plus 2.5 on the road. Baker likes playing in Texas. So
yeah, I'm joining you on Tampa Bay. I think they've got a lot of good offensive weapons alongside Baker.
Cool. On to the last game of the week then, the late game on the Monday night. Chargers at Raiders. The Chargers are favored by 3.5 points on the road against the Raiders. As the Chargers looked great last week in Brazil. Justin Herbert played really well. Defense was probably bailed out a little bit, like we said earlier, with the injuries. But yeah, the offense was good. Joe Alt looked incredible, by the way, at left tackle. But then the Raiders, Geno Smith looked amazing. I'm not sure about Bowers' position injury-wise for this game. I know he went off. I haven't checked. I'll Google it whilst we're talking. They'll be wanting a bit more from Genty, but they can't get much more from Geno. He was perfect. If both these quarterbacks play like they did in week 1 and week 2, they'll be 350 yards each in this game. So I'm hoping it's a good one, mate, for anyone that does stay up late on that Monday night.
Yeah, what I would say is I'd like to see a lot more from both rookie running backs. Obviously, Genty has been talked about a lot, but Amarian Hampton, by the way, who was also a first-round pick, he got 15 carries out the backfield for less than 50 yards. That was a very disappointing debut, actually, for him, who was a first-round pick. So I'd kind of like to see some juice from there. You can't tell me that this is not going to be a lot of yardage in this game. It really does feel like it. Have you looked about Brock Bowers, by the way? Because I think that really, without him, Las Vegas has struggled.
Yeah, I think red zone's going to be big in this game. I completely agree on what you just said about the fact there'll be a lot of yards in this game. But it's like, okay, who's going to score touchdowns rather than kick field goals? Pete Carroll's a bit more of a conservative as well. So I wonder if they do. What's it say? I don't know. I think they're trying to... I'm not seeing any confirmation. So I think they're trying to keep it close to their chest, to be honest. There's not any confirmation that he's out or that he's in. Let's have a look at the injury report.
Suppose, yeah.
So they've not... Yeah, no. So it's not confirmed. So yeah, we'll have to see if he practiced today. We didn't practice yesterday, but we'll see. It's a big deal, I think, obviously, if he doesn't play, right?
Yeah. Especially for us picking the spread there, it's a really, really big deal. It's hard, I think, to win playing the way that Vegas are going to win with slinging the ball, to be honest, without Brock Bowers.
Yeah, agreed. Now, Christian Gonzalez was out, obviously, in that game as well. And in the first game, Jacoby Myers had a big day, but I'm not sure if he'll have the same success against Jesse Minter's secondary. But yeah, we'll see. It's a hard one to pick. We're both kind of picking, not knowing now if Bowers is going to play. But thankfully, as the champion of week 1, you have to go first now. So
yeah, was it minus 3.5? I'd love to go for the Raiders, but do you know what? I'm gonna go Chargers. But I tell you something, it'd be a real letdown for the Chargers after beating the Chiefs on the road, which obviously is a huge thing for them in the division to then lose to the Raiders, to be honest. I'll go Chargers. This should be a fun game.
This should be a fun game. I'll go Chargers as well, just because we don't know about Bowers. So I'll go with Chargers. If I knew he was healthy, I might pick the Raiders, to be honest. But they do need Genty to run the ball a lot better than he did. I've got both these running backs in an auction league, by the way. So if I get to Monday night, I'm going to need both of these two to play well, probably.
Go off.
So yeah, I'll go for that. By the way, just as a petty Chiefs loss here, Jim Harbaugh saying that was probably one of the greatest wins in Chargers history, and they put up a banner or something from week 1 is the most embarrassing thing ever, and only made me more annoyed that the Chiefs lost in week 1. Enough said about that. Cool. That's all the games then for a fun week 2. Maybe the games are a bit better than I thought.
See, I taught you into that, didn't I? There's not many stinkers on that schedule.
No, you did talk me into it a little bit. Some interesting storylines. Not many stinkers. And we've only got 3 differences because I copied you with an emotional hedge of the Eagles, and both of us going for the Bucks and Chargers. We have got 3 differences that are all in the 6 p.m. window. I've gone for Jags plus 3.5. Patrick's gone for Bengals minus 3.5. I've gone for Rams minus 5.5. Patrick's gone for Titans plus 5.5. And I've gone for Ravens minus 11.5. Patrick's gone for Browns plus.
It never works when I go for the bad teams to cover. That's yeah.
You did it a few times last year, and Will Levis is there in Cobra pose after throwing another pick 6. But yeah, we'll see 3 differences as we go through to week 2. And then for week 3, with week 2, we'll review it on Monday probably. And then we'll try and get an early week 3 preview out probably before me and Patrick fly to New York to watch the greatest quarterback to ever live, which should be exciting.
Mahomes
not Russell Wilson. Yeah, Jackson Dart, that is on his debut. But there we go. Remember to go follow us at Go42Pod on Twitter/X. Follow Patrick as well at Mugs NFL. Get your Jackson Dart mugs. Come on, we need Jackson Dart items. Is there any big players you haven't done this year that you thought you'd do?
Just have a thing. Do you know what? Ashton Genty has been quieter than I thought it would be because people love kind of offensive stars, right? So I'll probably say Ashton Genty, yeah.
And Raiders are a big team in the UK as well.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
So once he wins me
fantasy, by a lot of Derek Carr stuff that I've done in the past.
And Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Devontae, it's...
Devontae, very true, yeah, very true. Let's see if he can have a big week 2 and get some Genty merch on the go. But yeah, everyone, enjoy a good week 2. We'll speak to you next week to review it all. Speak to you guys soon.